Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. You're probably scratching your head wondering what the heck is going on with Peacemaker. Season 2 just ended, and it left us with a ton of questions, like why is James Gunn actually calling it quits on the show? And what's next for us? Well, we'll answer some of these questions and figure out what's next for Peacemaker and the gang. Let's begin. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Why is James Gunn ending Peacemaker? James Gunn has been clear about why Peacemaker is wrapping up after its second season. He says it's not a cancellation, but a planned move that fits into the bigger picture of the DC universe. He mentioned that while we won't get a Peacemaker Season 3, you can bet that the characters will show up in other DCU stories down the line. This whole decision comes from his grand vision for the DCU, where each show's story builds a much larger, connected narrative, so you can see how the show shifted. Instead of showing Peacemaker's crazy actions and the aftermath of his pain like in Season 1, Season 2 really dug into Christopher Smith's personal struggle to heal. James Gunn stressed that this season specifically explores Christopher Smith's internal journey. It's about him finally facing his past and understanding how much it messed with his present, especially with his chosen family, the 11th Street Kids. This storyline provides a complete and emotional arc for the character. But hold on, this isn't the end for Christopher Smith. In fact, the finale is a bridge to other upcoming DCU projects, like the Man of Tomorrow movie set for 2027. James himself confirmed that the ending is specifically how it sets up Man of Tomorrow. All the story choices they made, including the tricky situation Peacemaker finds himself in at the very end, are designed to influence and push the entire DCU story forward. This means that, although Peacemaker as a standalone show is finishing, its impact and its characters will be felt throughout the evolving DC universe. Maybe it's DC's commitment to telling one big interconnected story. So no, a lack of Season 3 doesn't mean Peacemaker is any less important. It just means his role is shifting from being the main star of his own show to a star in a much bigger DCU saga. Peacemaker Season 2, The Quantum Unfolding Chamber. What is it? Season 2 brought an important gadget called the Quantum Unfolding Chamber, or QUC for short. Think of it as a big and mysterious thingamajig that blows open the DC Universe's multiverse. This chamber is like a door which lets people jump between 99 different dimensions, including other Earths like DC2. At first, everyone was guessing where it came from. Some thought Peacemaker's dad, Augie Smith, might have invented it. But nope. We get the full scoop of the QUC's real beginning in Season 2, Episode 4, which is cleverly called Need I Say Door. There's a flashback to 35 years ago in the main DC universe. A young Chris Smith, his brother Keith, and their dad Augie are out hunting. Augie shoots an alien creature which cannot be identified, and after all that chaos, what did they find in the woods? Two crucial items, a briefcase-looking thing that acts as the key to open an interdimensional door, and the QUC itself. This episode makes it crystal clear that Chris, not Augie, was the one who actually set up the QUC initially, and moved it around afterward. Peacemaker explains that when he was just a kid, he moved that portal twice. First from its spot in the woods to his dad's old trailer, and then from the trailer into the house. This crushes any idea that Augie was some kind of genius inventor, especially since Peacemaker casually mentions his dad flunked out of 10th grade. Apparently, Augie was afraid it was dangerous, so Chris and Keith ended up doing the heavy lifting. Now, when you look at how the QUC works, it's pretty impressive and way more advanced than other multiverse tech we've seen in DC. Remember how Lex Luthor played with unstable pocket dimensions in Superman? And those usually came with huge risks or just didn't work great? Well, the QUC seems to run much smoother and with better accuracy. It's not only a portal to 99 different dimensions, it might even have a storage function. That makes it something agencies like Argus are interested in, because they know how much power comes with a device like this. Chris even met different alien creatures in an alternate reality where his dad was a hero instead of a villain. Trust me, there's a lot more to come on the QUC, and Peacemaker's role in setting it up, not Augie. What's next for the squad? Peacemaker Season 2 wrapping up means some significant changes for everyone connected to Christopher Smith. It's shaking up their loyalties and friendships, all pointing to some major stuff coming in the wider DCU. After their crazy trips through the multiverse, his friends get back to their own reality, and wow, are they walking into a critical moment. They uncover that an agency they once believed in, Argus, is corrupted. It's all thanks to Rick Flag Sr. and his dirty dealings with Lex Luthor. We find out that this shady duo is behind something called Salvation, which is a new dimension created specifically as a prison for metahumans. For Peacemaker's gang, finding this out was the last straw. With this deep-seated rot infecting an organization that's supposed to be in charge, Leota Adebayo, Emilia Harcourt, John Economos, and Adrian Chase all decided they're cutting ties with Argus. They're done. And guess what? They weren't alone in ditching the agency. Other fed-up Argus agents like Sacha Bordeaux, Langston Fleury, and Judo Master joined their rebellion. This new squad decided to start something totally new, and they used all the cash Vigilante racked up from his crime fighting, or should I say his blood money, to fund their very own independent group. This fresh team is officially called Checkmate, and their mission statement is simple: making the world better. But while Peacemaker's allies are off building Checkmate, Christopher Smith himself is in an uncertain spot. Even after sharing a really deep moment with Harcourt and helping kickstart the new team, his personal journey takes a dark turn. Rick Flag Sr.'s agents grab him, and Rick is still seething for revenge over his son, Rick Flag Jr.'s death. So he banishes Peacemaker to salvation. And just like that, poor Chris Smith is left stranded and unarmed amidst monstrous sounds in this dimension, which, funnily enough, is the exact metahuman prison world his former teammates are now indirectly fighting against. This cliffhanger isn't meant to be tied up in a hypothetical Peacemaker Season 3, because, spoiler, that's not happening. Instead, it's a plot point that's going to drive future DCU projects. All these developments will directly impact the Man of Tomorrow movie, which is set up for 2027. Everything that went down in Peacemaker Season 2 will have major ripple effects across the entire DC universe. So although we're not getting a Peacemaker Season 3, don't you worry, because the characters, including Peacemaker himself, will continue to play their roles. The same goes for Checkmate. They're sticking around in the DCU, and their situation and goals are expected to evolve. Checkmate explained why DC fans should be excited. As a group, Checkmate has a long history in the DC comic books, so fans are gonna be pumped to see them finally show up in the DCU. They first appeared way back in 1988, in Action Comics number 598. In the comics, the idea for Checkmate came from Amanda Waller, the Queen of Secret Missions and the one who runs Task Force X. She wanted them to be a spin-off of Task Force X, but doing their own thing. She structured their ranks like a chessboard. Kings, queens, bishops, you get the idea. And depending on if you were a white piece or a black piece, you either gathered info or went out on missions. Now, fast forward to the end of Peacemaker Season 2. That's where we see the DCU's own version of Checkmate come to life. But here's the big difference for this live-action Checkmate, and that's who's in charge. In the comics, it was Amanda Waller's brainchild, but in the DCU, it's her daughter, Leota Adebayo, leading the charge. This family tie adds an interesting twist, because maybe this version of Checkmate might have a much stronger moral compass, or at least be more independent compared to Amanda Waller's usual shady tactics. James Gunn mentioned on the official Peacemaker podcast that Checkmate was a big piece of his Season 2 vision, and will definitely keep showing up in future projects. Now, for comic book nerds like us, seeing Sacha Bordeaux as one of the founding members is a big deal. She's got a deep history with Checkmate in the comics, like holding a few major positions. Over the years in the comics, Checkmate has changed quite a bit, because at one point it became a UN-affiliated agency with names like Maxwell Lord, Mr. Terrific, and Sacha Bordeaux in charge. And speaking of Maxwell Lord, he's already made an appearance in Gunn's DCU with his Justice Gang. In the comics, Maxwell Lord used to be a Black King in Checkmate, and he famously tried to use the group to get rid of all metahumans during a storyline called the OMAC Project. But it looks like the new DCU could be heading in a different direction with that. This new Checkmate, with Adebayo leading and wanting to make the world better, seems geared up to be working for the good guys instead of having an evil agenda. I'm betting we'll see Checkmate take on some big missions, maybe trying to bust Peacemaker out of that dangerous prison. Marvelous verdict. There you have it, guys. It's a bittersweet pill to swallow, knowing Peacemaker as a standalone show is done. But honestly, seeing how it's all setting up a bigger DCU picture, I'm actually pretty hyped. What do you all think about James Gunn's vision? Are you ready for Checkmate to take over? Let me know everything in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.